February 1959, in the northern Ural Mountains. 9 experienced Soviet hikers pitch a tent on the slope of a mountain the local Mansi people call Kholat Syakhl, Dead Mountain. Sometime after midnight, they cut their way out of that tent from inside. They then flee into temperatures of -30 to -40 degrees Celsius, barefoot, half-dressed, into the dark. None of them survive. What forced them out has never been fully explained. January 23rd, 1959, the 10 young people left the city of Sverdlovsk, today's Yekaterinburg, bound for a difficult ski trip through the northern Urals. They are mostly students and recent graduates from the Ural Polytechnic Institute. All were experienced, all were prepared, and all were optimistic. Their leader is 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, a radio engineering student. With him are Yuri Doroshenko, Lyudmila Dubinina, Yuri Krivonenchenko, Alexander Kolevatov, Zinaida Kolomogrova, Rustem Slobodin, Nikolai Thurbo-Brignoli, and the older sports instructor Semyon Zolotoryev. And then there was one more member, Yuri Yuridin, but he turns back early because of joint pain. That decision, turns out, saved his life. The remaining 9 pressed on. On February 1st, they reached the eastern slope of Kholat Syakhl. Weather is worsening. There's snow, there's wind, and poor visibility, and instead of continuing over the pass, they dig into the slope and pitch their large tent for the night. They go on to eat, they get a little rest. Diaries and photographs recovered later show a normal, even cheerful evening. Then, something weird happens. When searchers finally reach the site on February 26th, they find the tent still standing but collapsed and half buried in snow. It has been sliced open from the inside with knives. There were boots, there were coats, there was food, cameras, everything was still left inside. 9 sets of footprints lead away down the slope towards the tree line more than a kilometer below. Absolutely nobody is in the tent, which is strange given the temperatures that night. The first 2 bodies are found under a large cedar tree. Yuri Krivonenchenko and Yuri Doroshenko, those are the bodies that they find. They are in their underwear and socks near the remains of a small fire. Both obviously died of hypothermia. One had burned skin and a piece of his own flesh clenched between his teeth, likely from the final stages of freezing. 3 more bodies lie between the tree and the tent. Igor Dyatlov, Zinaida Kolomogrova, and Rustem Slobodin. They appear to have been trying to climb back up, but they were also dead from the cold. Slobodin has a small crack in his skull, however. The last 4 are not found until May, when the snow melts. They are deeper in the woods, in a ravine, under several meters of snow. Lyudmila Dubinina and Alexander Kolevatov, Nikolai Thurbo-Brignoli, and Semyon Zolotaryov. These 4 tell a different story, however. Thurbo-Brignoli has a catastrophic skull fracture. Dubinina and Zolotaryov have massive chest trauma, ribs crushed as if by a car crash, yet almost no external wounds. Dubinina is missing her tongue, her eyes, and parts of her facial soft tissue. 2 others are also missing eyes or eyebrows. The official 1959 investigation concludes they were killed by a compelling natural force, and the case was closed. But the details refused to stay quiet. Why cut the tent from the inside instead of just using the entrance? Why leave boots and warm clothing behind in the lethal cold? Why the severe internal injuries without matching external damage? Why the missing soft tissue? And why did some clothing later test positive for low levels of radiation? Theories multiplied for decades. Military weapons tests, infrasound from the wind driving them mad, an attack by a local Mansi people quickly ruled out, Yetis, the secret government experience, and even aliens. In 2019 and 2020, Russian authorities reopened the case and settled on an avalanche, specifically a slab avalanche. In 2021, Swiss researchers published a detailed study supporting that idea. They showed a relatively small delayed slab of dense snow, built up by strong winds after the hikers cut into the slope. They say that it could have slammed into the tent hours after they went to sleep. The impact would explain the panic, the rushed escape without proper clothing, and the crushing injuries on the three most seriously hurt. Now, the missing eyes and the tongue are now widely attributed to scavenging animals and the fact that those bodies lay in running water for weeks. Paradoxical undressing is a known effect of severe hypothermia, and it explains why some were found nearly naked. It's the most scientifically grounded explanation that we have, and yet even the researchers who modeled the avalanche say they cannot prove that it happened that way. There's no clear avalanche debris that was noted by the original search team, and the slope was borderline for such an event. And the sheer sequence of decisions the group made after fleeing still feels, some say, incomplete. 9 skilled, rational people, one night on Dead Mountain, a tent cut open from the inside, footprints leading into the dark. 67 years later, the snow has long melted multiple times. The pass still bears Igor Dyatlov's name, and the mountain keeps its silence. Whatever forced them out that night, they faced it together. They never made it back. If you found this one unsettling, leave a comment with your own theory, or which mystery you want next, because we're always looking for something new. Stay curious, guys, and until next time, sleep well.